I used to wonder how anyone got anything done or everything done at home that needed to get done, especially with a lot of kids running around. For me, things just felt very chaotic. I always felt overwhelmed, and no matter what I tried, nothing seemed to work. But things finally started to shift, not because I found a magic routine, but because I made a few small intentional changes that actually worked for our home. And when it finally clicked, it was wonderful. Stick around because by the end of this video, you're going to have the mindset and the strategies to manage your home with more clarity and less stress so that your days can finally feel like they're working for you and not against you. The first thing that I would do is clarify what matters to your family so that your time reflects what you value. This is going to look different for every season and it looks different for every family. This is not about doing everything, but it's about doing the right things consistently. Some questions that I would ask is what has to happen? So that can be very practical. Like, you have to eat. If you homeschool, obviously think through that. You might want to try to prioritize family connection. If you guys do family worship, I would just get very clear on what's really important to you guys. Write that down. And now that you've asked what has to happen, I would think about what do you need to do to get there? For example, if you want to make sure that everyone is eating a home cooked meal every evening for dinner, what do you have to do to prepare for that to happen? Some things that I do are I'll pull out some meat in the morning to thaw so that it's ready by dinner time. And then lunchtime, I will cut vegetables and then I'll try to start dinner a good hour early. So that makes time for interruptions and things like that. That's just an example of laying out what has to happen. What do you have to do to get there? And then also, I would think through what do you want your home to be? I'm sure that connection is very important to you. So I would just think through if you want to have a strong family culture, or if you want your home to be a godly home, those are wonderful priorities to have, but we want to set our ideal and then we want to determine the steps to get there so that we're not just floating and wishing and not actually acting. Knowing your priorities isn't the hard part. The hard part is protecting those priorities when life gets very busy and very loud. And that's where a lot of people go wrong, including me. So how do you actually make space for what matters? I'm going to show you that next. If you're not quite sure how to build rhythms like this, I created a free mini training that I'll link down below. It's the first step to helping you do exactly this, and I trust that it'll bless you. So this next point is all about simplifying. And the way to do that is to cut the noise, build rhythms, and delegate. Cutting the noise is essentially not allowing yourself to get distracted. I am so guilty of this. When I've gotten overwhelmed, it's easy to want to check out and to start scrolling or to want to even leave the home and go do something else rather than really focus in on what needs to be done at home. I've done it. I know lots of moms who have done it. I know this is very common. We've got to learn to be disciplined, to put the phone away, to be completely present where we are. And remember that it's actually what you want. You want to be less overwhelmed. I want to be less overwhelmed. And looking at the phone and letting that steal time actually leads to more overwhelm, less rest. It's just totally counterproductive. So I would cut the noise and just do your best to put a phone in a drawer, put it on silent, have certain times of the day that you're checking your phone for updates or whatever, but put it away and be with your kids and be present in the home. The other thing I would say is to build rhythms. So let's go back to the first point when I talked about clarifying what's important. And if you did the work of writing out what needs to happen to get there, then you have laid the groundwork to start building systems that will really work. You set your priorities and the systems and the habits are how you actually get there. I really love talking about this next point because this is a big part of how I'm able to get our home taken care of. I've personally started with daily rhythms, and then I ended up going to weekly rhythms. Daily rhythms are things like your morning routine, your evening routine, and your afternoon routine. I started with a solid morning routine, and that completely changed my entire day, and it was such a blessing to me. But then I quickly realized that the mornings were very much affected by the evenings, so I added a solid evening routine, and I actually have a couple of videos about both of those that I can link down below if I can remember. Weekly rhythms, in my mind, are very similar to time blocking. So with time blocking, you have the morning block where you're getting this set of tasks done in the morning. It's not rigid, they're blocked off by the minutes. It's just blocked off by the section of the day. The weekly rhythms are kind of similar where you have a set list of tasks that you usually like to get done, and that's blocked into that day. You're not reinventing the wheel every week. You have thought ahead of time what needs to get done, and it just keeps coming back around every week. It gives you structure to where things are happening that need to happen, but it also leaves room for a lot of flexibility when life happens. Like when a child is sick, you don't have to play catch up after the child gets better or things kind of bounce back. You know that the day is going to come right back around next week. Currently for me, these weekly rhythms look like on Monday is my office day. That's when I take care of budgeting and bills and et cetera. Tuesday is kind of a catch-all day. Wednesday is my kitchen day where I bake bread for the week, or if I have to do something like make granola or whatever, I make it on that day. Thursday is my deep cleaning day. Friday is my errands slash hospitality day. Sunday is the Lord's Day, obviously. And so we go to church and we have some family time, but then we also reset for the week. So, and then Saturday is our Sabbath. Sorry, that was a little backwards, but Saturday is our family Sabbath where we don't really plan anything. We just take a nice, relaxed family time together. So these rhythms really allow me to get things done, and it's wonderful. The third thing that I would say in this category is to delegate. If you have really tiny children, they're like 2 or under, there's not going to be a lot of this that you can do with them. So in that case, you really got to get down to the bare bones of just what has to happen. And you can always add on things as they get a little older. But I would still recommend inviting them into the task with you so that they can start learning. I mean, little kids love to help. So invite them in, teach them how to help mama. They could put silverware away or things like that, but start teaching your little ones how to help mommy around the house and instill those values in them when they're really little. Because once they're 3, 4, 5 up, they're able to help. I would think of tasks that you can delegate to your children, not only to teach them important skills like taking care of a home and stewarding what God has given them, but also instilling a strong family culture where you guys are sharing the load and you're working together to make the home beautiful. It teaches them follow through, it builds character, but I would highly recommend inviting your children into the rhythms with you. I actually have a whole video on this that is my first video, so I'm sorry, it's really bad, but I'm going to link it down below because it does take you through this step by step. And one day I'll try to redo that, but it is what it is. And I do take you through it step by step, but forgive the quality. Another way to delegate that I've really enjoyed is using things like grocery pickup. So outsource where you can. Grocery pickup at our Walmart and Kroger is free. Thank you, COVID, I guess. But I'll order groceries and I'll ask my husband to pick it up on the way home from work. And that just saves us a lot of time. Delegating things like groceries takes a massive load off and it helps you have more time to get things done at home. So what about the things that you can't plan for? Like things that cannot be included in the weekly systems or just the normal to-dos that come and go every single day. That's what I'm going to talk about next. This third point is how I manage the moving pieces. So the random to-dos that come up every single week, I have a running to-do list that I pull from. So on Sundays when I do our weekly reset or I plan for the week, I will write out my to-do list. I also write out my shopping list for the week. I write out my week at a glance. And then each day I write the day of the week and then I pull from that master to-do list and I plug it in there. I only do 1 to 2 priorities per day, but anything extra on top of that is definitely a bonus. During my evening routine, I plan for the next day. I will flip over to my master to-do list and I will pull from that and I will plug in, if it's office day, if I have something like pay whatever bill and I wrote it down, I can pull from that running to-do list and I could assign it to the day. This is where the weekly rhythms are really helpful because you can pull from your master to-do list and rather than feeling the pressure of I have to get all this done on one day, if it has a category or if it can fit in on one of your weekly rhythms, then plug it in on one of those days. So for example, I might write down, I know I need to make granola. We ran out. So I'm going to write that on my running to-do list. Well, on Tuesday evening, when I am planning for Wednesday, my kitchen day, I'll pull from the master to-do list and I'll plug it in. These weekly rhythms really pair well with having a running master to-do list because I don't ever feel pressure to do everything on one day. I'll just pull whatever needs to happen. I'll assign it to a relevant day and then I'll tackle it whenever I can. And then whatever is still left, it just rolls over into the next week. It's a really easy way to manage all the moving pieces. It helps me prioritize what's really important and it takes away a lot of the pressure so I don't feel like I have to do it all at once. When you pull all these 3 pieces together, clarifying what's important to your home, simplifying by cutting the noise and creating systems and delegating, and then figuring out how to manage all the moving pieces, That's when things really start to click and you're not spinning your wheels all the time trying to figure out how to get it all done. If this helped you, if you found it valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell and share it with another mom who might be feeling overwhelmed. And if you want help building routines that work for your real life, grab my free mini training below. I designed it to help you take the first step out of overwhelm into building rhythms like this. You've got this, and I'm cheering you on. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.